I don't know if y'all can hear it, but that was the remix to the presidential trumpet song. I've been looking for one for quite some time for the intro for this. And I want to give a shout out to RM and I think JRM Squad Productions for that remix because it is amazing. And I'm excited that we have it. So welcome to Beyond the Poverty Line with Shatoyia Jones. I'm Shatoyia Jones, founder and CEO of the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation, host of Beyond the Poverty Line, and host of Invest to Manifest. Forgive me if my lighting is off. Forgive me if any technical issues in advance. I'm still learning how to do this. So I'm just letting y'all know in advance that this is new for me. So I am anticipating some live stream mishaps. So Beyond the Poverty Line, what is it? I have a video that you can watch to learn more about what the Beyond the Poverty Line, what you can expect and what it is. But essentially, Beyond the Poverty Line is a show. It is a show for conversation, for dialogue with people all over the world, including you who are watching, to give your thoughts and opinions on poverty, poverty alleviation, etc. I'll be answering questions that was sent in to me. I have 14 years of experience in the poverty, racial equity, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, entrepreneurship industries. I have almost 15 years as an educator. And so this is something that's near and dear to my heart, learning about poverty, poverty alleviation, and how the different systems, education, environment, politics, law enforcement, all these different things contribute to poverty, and what we can do as individuals, as communities, as groups, to actually combat poverty and poverty alleviation right in our own communities. So I'm going to do a Q&A today. So feel free to leave your questions in the chat box, in the comment section as well. But I'm also going to, there's a link in the live chat box that you can click on, take the survey, and ask me a question. I'm probably not going to get to it today, but I always look at that little survey form and I'll answer your questions in another episode. So without further ado, let's go to the first question that Miss Cassadine, I think I'm pronouncing her, I hope I'm pronouncing her name properly. Miss Cassadine sent in, let's see. Let me actually go and look at her form that she sent in. So this is a summary from Miss Cassadine. She is predominantly of European descent. She is a female ally of women of color. Hello. Between the ages of 18 and 25. Okay. Sent in from California. Hello, California. She has some college. Not yet an associate's degree. Annual income of $25,000, between $25,000 and $40,000. And she believes that the main cause of poverty is inadequate educational systems. Not lazy people, not lack of resources to end poverty, not low wages, or lack of money, not enough jobs, not politics and government, but she believes that poverty is caused by inadequate educational systems. And I think it's amazing that you mentioned that, Cassadine, because I, again, being almost 15 years in the education system, I would 100% agree that a lot of it has to do with educational systems or inadequate educational resources. But the first thing I want to say is it's not the only thing. And I think that's something we can get into in a minute, the role of educational systems, the huge role it plays, and what education actually is. So that's something we'll be talking about. So let's do that now before I move on with your submission that you sent in. So Ms. Cassadine believes that poverty exists due to the main reason poverty exists is due to inadequate educational resources and educational systems. I would 100% agree, because in order for people to actually get out of poverty, they need to know certain things. But I would also say that knowledge is one aspect of it, but applied knowledge is another aspect. So people know certain things. They know they have to do certain things. For instance, I know I have to pay my bill coming up, but instead of paying my bill, I might do something else. You know what I mean? So some people may even get the knowledge. So that's the first step for sure. So having access to adequate, not just any educational resource, but adequate educational resources is super important. And that's why we have the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation. If you don't see the little tag, it's at www.firstladiesofpovertyfoundation.org as an alternative educational resource to the traditional education employment model, because it doesn't work for a lot of individuals, especially for BIPOC individuals. So if you're interested in attaining a higher quality of life, financial sustainability, financial freedom, and all these other things, go to First Ladies of Poverty Foundation and check out our programs in our community. Now, back to inadequate educational systems. Yes, 100%. And people have to take action as well. People have to actually act on what they learn. And some people are just knowledge hubs. They know a lot of things, but they refuse to put into action what they know, because there's sacrifice that has to come. There's accountability. It's easier to not be accountable for your own actions and resources and behavior. So some people are like, if I had the knowledge, I would put it into practice and I would get started ASAP. Not everybody's like that, unfortunately. So here's my thing about poverty. And you're going to hear me say this a lot. I believe poverty will never be eradicated. So there's this, I think poverty is number one on the SDG little bubble. And it's like to eradicate poverty completely, or no poverty. Zero poverty is what it says. And I don't believe that's possible, because you can't force someone to do something, which means there are going to be a lot of people who are very comfortable in that situation. They're going to complain. They're going to be like, ooh, I wish I had this, or ooh, I wish I had that, or ooh, I wish I had that. But that's all they're doing, wishing. They're not going to put in the effort. You can present the opportunity. They're going to make some excuse why they can't take advantage of it. They're going to make some reason why they can't afford it, or why they won't do like a work study or just get a free trial. Even if you offer it for free, there's going to be always some excuse why they can't do it. Pride, shame, whatever it may be. They're not super motivated enough to actually take action. So I don't believe in the eradication of poverty. However, for those people who do want to escape poverty, that's what I'm focused on. And I do believe we can significantly reduce poverty with adequate educational systems like the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation, for instance. So I would 100% agree that one of the main issues to eradicate poverty is that there aren't adequate educational systems in place to set people up to not be in poverty. It's set up to get you a job. It's set up to get you above like a $12 an hour job, but it's not set up to get you a higher quality of life and financial sustainability or financial freedom. It's not set up to make you rich. That was never the intention of a job or the intention of the educational system. So if you're interested in looking at alternative ways, alternative educational programs, go to firstladiesofpovertyfoundation.org. Now, moving on to the next thing that Miss Cassidy submitted in her form. The next question is, what is currently stopping you from building a more stable, fulfilling, and financially secure life for yourselves and your loved ones? And she chose, I don't have access to enough resources. So that is something that can be fixed, thank goodness. So what you can do is simply go to firstladiesofpovertyfoundation.org, www.firstladiesofpovertyfoundation.org, and browse through the homepage and click which category you fit in. So there are 4 categories. Let me share my screen here for y'all to see. There are 4 categories you can choose from. I'll just pull up the website so y'all can see it, and then also so you can see the free resources as well. Okay. So here's what the website looks like, and you can learn more about us with this video here. Or you can just go ahead and look at the 4 things we focus on. So First Ladies of Poverty Financial Academy serves people and community, not profit. We support you in your growth as an individual while you learn to create multiple streams of income with our online entrepreneurship programs while creating generational wealth for yourself and your loved ones using only your computer, technology, and the internet. So mentorship is important. If you're interested in mentorship, we're right for you. If you're interested in entrepreneurship investing, if you're interested in social responsibility and building generational wealth, our programs are right for you. And you can confirm if our programs are right for you by clicking there. And it'll take you to speak with one of our representatives. Membership. Become a member of our community. You'll see some testimonials, and then you can choose from these 4 categories. This is what I was talking about. So if you want to start your own successful, purpose-driven online business within 3 to 6 months with the support of a mentor and a supportive, resourceful community, and we made sure to add that because a lot of people, when they come to us, they say the main things they find is, there's programs out there, but the support isn't there, the guidance isn't there, the mentorship isn't there. Well, it's here with us. So go ahead and click start here if that's something you're interested in. If you're interested in seeking to improve your financial situation, attain a higher quality of life so that you can spend more time doing more what you love and enjoying the life you live, click start here and we can get you there. If you're seeking to promote a product or service, so some people already have programs, mentoring programs, coaching programs, products for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, and BIPOC individuals that they want to promote to them. Well, if you're looking to promote a service and get more clients and get more exposure for your brand or for your product or service, you can do that with us as well. Or if you're just seeking a partner with the FOP and get involved, be a part of the solution of systemic racism and not the problem, you can start there as well and get involved. Schedule a call, become a community influencer. So the homepage is really your starting point and everything's right there for you. We also have a conference coming up. So if you want a resource of like something of this sort as well, go ahead, feel free to click that and visit, take a look, apply to become a speaker, become a sponsor, apply for our scholarship. The resource is here, and make sure you share this information because some people will find it, apply for it, and then not share. Like, sharing is caring. Make sure you share this information. So Cassidy, I hope that was encouraging to you and that you take advantage of those resources and visit the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation homepage and get started with us. So what is poverty to you? What are your current thoughts on poverty, the existence of poverty, and what can be done about it? What are some solutions? So I'm all about solutions. I'm very solution oriented. I don't like when people just talk about things and they don't really do anything about it, or they don't have any intention to do anything about it. They're just kind of just talking and ranting. So here's what's about to happen. I'm about to pull up her question and we're going to look at it together, and I'm going to provide an answer or answers and some resources. So poverty is here's her response to what is poverty, what can we do about it, etc. Poverty is a growing gap. This is what Cassidy is saying. She's saying that she believes poverty is a growing gap between the rich and the poor due to poor education systems, politics, and protection of the 1%. So let's break this down. Let's talk about that. So she defined poverty as a growing gap between the rich and the poor. I would say that is the result of poverty. That is the result of the gap is the result of poverty itself. So I like to define I like to define poverty as a lack of resources, a deficiency in the necessary resources to live a high quality of life. And high quality of life is simply having basic necessities and being able to thrive as a productive citizen and give back to the world. So you can't be your full best self. There is poverty there. And poverty goes beyond just finances. I always teach this as well. Poverty is not just financial. It's not just about money. which could be a part of it, but there are people who makes under $10,000 a year, but they are thriving and they're healthy and happy. So it's also about the economy that you live in. So it's not necessarily the money, it's a lack of knowledge as to how to thrive in your current economy, a lack or deficiency of opportunities. So it always goes back to like a lack of deficiency that stops you from being able to be your best self and to be a productive, contributing member of the society or the world you live in, including your family or your household. So it is a lack of deficiency. And so poverty can also be financial, mental, and emotional poverty. I'm going to talk about that in a future episode. Make sure you remind me, ask me questions, use that link in the chat box to submit your question, because I'll be talking more about that. But it's also mental and emotional, because in order to maintain healthy relationships, the mental and emotional has to be in place as well, not just the financial. Finances will not sustain those relationships that are needed to have a healthy, thriving society, or to be a part of and contribute to a healthy and thriving society. So it's mental, emotional. Mental health, emotional health, physical health, health in general is super important. So the lack of access, the deficiency, the access to nutritious food sources, healthy food sources, organic food sources is a huge one. Food insecurity is a huge one. And I don't mean like fast food. I mean like just healthy, nutritious, organic food sources is a deficiency. Now, there are going to be people who have access to these things and are going to choose otherwise. But we're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people. Because remember, I said before, I don't believe in eradicating poverty. I believe in significantly reducing poverty. Focusing on the people who are going to do what's necessary and what's needed to escape poverty. So I'm not talking about the people who are going to have access to these things and are going to decide to go with convenient fast food the majority of the time. I'm talking about the people who are interested in escaping poverty and need these things. They're usually the ones who don't have access to it. The people who have access to these things don't need it or don't want it. And it's quite unfortunate. So I believe, again, poverty is like a lack of and a deficient in things that are necessary to be a productive, contributing member to society, your household, and to the world in general. And you can't do that. You can't have a higher quality of life if you don't have the right educational resources, the health, the knowledge, the community. Like, it's just a lack, a deficiency. And your environment plays a huge part in it. But again, that's why you can get started with the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation. May your next step be the game changer. Let your next step be getting involved with the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation to help you get started, getting into that enriching environment you need, that supportive environment that you need to overcome poverty in general, get out of poverty, escape poverty, create a better life for yourself and your loved ones. The knowledge, the community, the resources, the access that you need to actually do this and to live a quality life and be a contributing member to society. Between the rich, so growing gap between the rich and the poor due to poor education system, politics, and protection of the 1%. Absolutely. A lot of that is so true. And one of the things we can do, actually, when we're talking about poor education systems, we need to be getting involved. So I hope you aren't someone who's going to complain about it and then get access to resources or get access to this knowledge and then just sit on it and not do anything about it. The one thing we can do is actually, in our local communities, go to these education centers, educational institutions, and ask, how can I get involved? What is the leadership process like? Excuse me, who do I need to talk to talk about the things I want to see change for not only myself and my child, but for the generations and the children to come after them? And you could get involved with like parent-teacher meetings. I think they still have those parent-teacher meetings. Be a chaperone for some field trips. Be a volunteer leader of a student club, of like become a volunteer leader in a community, host it at like a local church or a food bank, or host seminars and things of that nature. Start a chapter with the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation. We can help you actually start a chapter in your community that connects your community to our resources, so you can reach more people and help more people. And it's actually a paid opportunity as well, so it's an income stream for you. And again, you can start a chapter with the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation, get a free consultation to ask more about that. and contact us. But ask questions. That's like always the first step. What can I do? Who can I contact? Where can I start? And if you're interested in an educational field, start with the educational institutions in your local environment. Start with the organizations who are focused in education, like the First Ladies Party Foundation. Start with just start with what's in your local community first. Learn some things, see what you can do, and then keep going from there. And again, the First Ladies Party Foundation can help you get started ASAP while bringing in a streaming income for you and your family and your loved ones. Politics is a huge one. I don't think we know how huge politics play into, our quality of life. And I think the election of 2020 definitely shows that and showed that. And I think a lot of people took, voting a lot more seriously this year because they started to see like, okay, yeah, this is really important. It really impacts, and it does. And not just nationally, but your local and state elections. How many of us don't even realize we have local and state elections, right? So even making sure you know who the candidates are in your local state election, who's voting, know your voting rights. Make sure you know that. I recently partnered with rockthevote.org and HBO Max. Go study up on voting, know your rights, know what you're capable of, or you can follow me at Invest to Manifest on Instagram, at Invest, the number 2, Manifest on Instagram. And I have a video about that, and I try to stay up to date with y'all about these things that are super important, because they are. And all of it comes together to build not only your quality of life, but the quality of life of your community and your children, the people who are going to go out into the world years after you, decades after you, and have to deal with whatever's left and whatever's in place. I believe, so this is Cassidy again, I believe that the government and politicians do all that they can to keep the rich people rich and the poor people poor, in more simple terms, because that's how they keep control. You pretty much hit the head on the nail. Like, if you can keep certain people at a certain place, this is just outside of politics, just in general. If you can keep certain people in a certain place, then yes, you control them, right? You control them because of this, because of the mindset, because of the knowledge that they don't have, or maybe they do have, but they only have a piece of it. Kind of like what people say, in the Bible, for instance, people will say, oh, the Bible says women submit to men. If you didn't study for yourself, like if you don't study the voting rights for yourself or your voting laws for yourself, people are going to try and tell you what it says, right? So if you're a biblical person, for instance, and you didn't study that for yourself, but you hear a lot of people saying it because they probably heard someone else tell them, and so that's what they're teaching now, you're going to be like, oh man, I don't like the Bible, or the Bible isn't for women's rights because that's what it says. But if you go and read it for yourself, first of all, it says wives submit to your husbands. That's one. So not all women submit to all men. It says wives. So only submit to your husband, and make sure your husband is worth submitting to. In order for you to make that commitment, make sure it's a man worth submitting to. That's what it says. Wives, submit to your husbands. And the thing right next to it, though, after it, is husbands submit to your wives. Why don't nobody teach about that? Why doesn't nobody talk about that, right? Because instead of studying for ourselves, we listen to other people. And it's the same thing with anything else in this world: voting, taxes, finances, what's for who, what makes you poor, what makes you rich, what makes you look rich. All these things that we're usually taught from people who are in the same circumstances as us and don't really know what the heck they're talking about. So definitely 100%, it's often to keep control, because if you can keep control of this and people's mindset about certain things, you definitely keep control over what they can do in the world, and thus you keep control over the masses. That is so true. I also believe the mindset of America is obsessed with money being linked to happiness. Say that. Let me read that one more time. Cassidy, you hit the nail right on the head with this one. I also believe the mindset of America is obsessed with money being linked to happiness. Yes. And the foundation of this country is exploitation of human beings for the sake of the economy. The economy has always been historically first with this country, the foundation of the USA as we know it. So you're 100% right. And people think money is going to get you access to happiness because you're not going to have to worry about certain things. You could probably pay your way into certain atmospheres or pay your way to get certain things done. But at the end of the day, happiness is not based on that piece of paper. Happiness is based on the relationship, not only to other people, but to yourself. And most people are not at peace with themselves, let alone the people around them or the environment around them. And they can have all these material things in the world and be temporarily satisfied with that, but long term that's not going to bring you happiness. So 100%. And going back to what I said before, sometimes people have access so we got to be careful when we say poverty is a lack of access to certain things, because people can have access to the knowledge, to the resources, and not take advantage of it, not use it, not try and get involved, not try and do something about their circumstances because they're comfortable with the woe is me and the blame game, like blaming everyone else except themselves so that they don't have to take accountability for it and want things to drop into their lap. With those who have everything and don't have everything but can buy almost everything except happiness and love and the things that really matter, these individuals sometimes when they just choose to do it that way, they choose it that way because those are the things they can control. They can control the type of car they have, the type of house they have, etc. But they can't control the type of person that they have. The right person for these individuals who would be, respectful of themselves or have a high self-esteem, they want someone who's probably easily controlled, that they're going to do whatever they say, whatever they want, but that's not going to bring them happiness. It's going to bring them temporary satisfaction. But it's not going to bring them happiness. So 100%, I think a lot of Americans need to reevaluate and redefine, and people around the world, not just Americans, but since I am representing the USA with this platform, I will say that many Americans do need to reevaluate what happiness really is and what that means. And for me, I'll give a good example. For me, happiness is peace. It's peace in my personal life, my professional life, and financially. If I have peace, I feel great. And sometimes things aren't going well, but I still have peace. And that to me is true happiness. You know what I mean? That's something that can be taken away from me with materialistic items. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that long-term holistic peace is happiness to me. And I think that's what most people want but can't have. And so it's also the most precious thing, in my opinion. All right. So yes to that. As opposed, so let's go back to that sentence. I also believe the mindset of America is obsessed with money being linked to happiness as opposed to doing the inner self-work. That's what I just talked about. Yep. That shows us we are all capable of creating money. Yes, say that. Creating money, attracting money, not making money, but creating. And yes. And it all starts with that inner self-work. Get my book, You Are Your Greatest Asset, on Amazon with a link in the description of this video, because I talk about that. Throughout the majority of the book, I talk about doing that inner self-work to attract the things you want out of life. Yes. That shows us we are all capable of creating money. We are all capable of creating, not making, creating money. If we get past our own limitations, say that. 100%. I obviously am in agreement with you, and I'm so stoked that you realize that is a great starting place. So you realize not only is poverty caused by politics, government, etc., but also a lot of times by our own limitations that we place on ourselves via this, our mindsets. And so where do you get started to upgrade your mindset to that level that you need to start creating money, to attract the opportunities and the people and the relationships out of life that you want. Go to firstlights.foundation.org and join our community. Become a member today. And we're having a sale throughout the month of December. Right now and throughout the month of December, it's going to end January 2021. So go ahead and become a member today to take advantage of the sale and our community that's going to help you grow your mindset, get out of poverty, and start having the confidence that you need to know that you are capable, and then the resources to actually make it happen. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If only we can get past our own limitations. That is a word. That is a word. So let me move on with Cassidy's submission. So she didn't put what she thought community organizations can do to better reach and serve the communities. So we're going to move on. She is currently seeking a coach and resources for multiple types of development. So if you are like Cassidy and you are seeking a coach for multiple types of development, go to firstladypartyfoundation.org and click which category. If you saw at the beginning of this, I shared my screen to show y'all what it looks like on the webpage. Choose a category, click start here, and it'll take you to get started. And if you want to get a mentor, you can also view our mentors directory. So scroll to the bottom of the page or click the navigation tab of the homepage at www.firstladypartyfoundation.org and click mentorship or mentors directory and browse our mentors and click work with me to work with one of the mentors. There's a work with me button on the mentor profiles. So if you are seeking a multiple types of development, go to firstladypartyfoundation.org to get started. Would you be interested in scheduling a call with us? Yes, she is interested. So go to the homepage and click schedule a call if you are interested in speaking with one of our representatives. And if you could have one wish granted to you right now to go from struggle to stability, what would that be? So she answered that question. And let's see what she said. I could support myself and my parents comfortably. So here's a tip. You never know who you're going to run into in life. So when people give you the chance to say what it is you want out of life, to say what it is you desire out of life, like for instance, if you're watching this, comment in the either in the Q&A chat or in the comment section below. If you could have one wish granted to you, what would you want? Here's your chance, because you never know who's going to come across this, who's going to watch this, and who's going to be able to offer you, the opportunity to get what it is you just put out into the universe. You don't know who's going to come across this. So when someone asks you that question, don't just put, I wish I could support my families comfortably, myself and my parents comfortably. But what does that mean? What does that look like for you? Are you looking for a new job opportunity? Full time? Are you looking to become a mentor or coach so you can do that? Like, what is the means to which you ideally would love to get there? So if you based on what you said, you want to build a higher quality of life for yourself and your loved ones. So go to the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation, look at what we offer, and schedule a call or click start here in one of those categories to get started today. But for anyone else who's going to submit a question or make a submission to have your question answered and your situation analyzed and the things you want to talk about on poverty talked about, then make sure when you have these questions, say exactly what you want to say. If someone asks you, what do you wish for? If you had one wish to be granted something, what would it be? Be specific. Be like, if somebody's going to give it to me, answer the question as if somebody's going to give you exactly what you asked for. That is a tip for a lot of people. Especially if you have the opportunity to get asked that, you never know who's watching, who's listening, and who's going to be willing to give you exactly what you wish for. And this individual did not have questions that they would like to ask the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation. But if you have questions, if you're watching this and you have questions to ask about the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation, feel free to visit www.firstladiesofpovertyfoundation.org. And to schedule your free consultation, as well as learn more about this, there's a video on the home page of the website that you can take a look at to learn more about us and to see what it is we do, why we do what we do, how do we do it, how do you get started, how do you get involved. All of that is on the homepage of the website. So make sure you feel free to take a look. And I am going to call it a night because it is time for me to just relax before the Purpose, Peace, and Prosperity Retreat hosted by the First Ladies of Poverty Foundation. It is free of charge. And if you go to our homepage under our events and workshops, you'll see Purpose, Peace, and Prosperity Retreat. I'll pull it up now. There's the Purpose, Peace, and Prosperity Retreat, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're teaching people how to access purpose, peace, and prosperity. The one we did last month is a monthly event, free to anyone who registers. We only have limited spots. I think only 100 spots per month. So go ahead and make sure you register in advance as well. And essentially, we teach people how to get to purpose, peace, and prosperity. So the purpose piece, the vision, the feeling of meaningfulness in what you do, and then the peace internally and around you, how to maintain that, and then prosperity financially and otherwise. So if that is of interest to you, let me go ahead and share my screen for y'all so y'all can see what that would look like if you were to pull it up and register. So here's the list to our events. First Ladies of Poverty Foundation.org. You can go to the website and go to events and workshops, and it'll take you to this page. And the retreat, so we have financial literacy workshops, have about us. So if you want to learn more about us, you could just register there. We have a Let's Talk, safe space for community conversation for POC and allies. We have self-development retreats. We have how to save money on your utility bills every month, virtual community coffee chats, passive income boot camp, coffee chats, earn money, make a positive impact. So here's the Purpose, Peace, and Prosperity retreats. And essentially, join us monthly for an hour and a half of inspiration, goal setting, and accountability support. Every week, you will hear from an inspirational speaker and engage in thought-provoking discussions and build life-changing relationships with others like you who want to not only take our success blueprints to create a better life for themselves, but also and then their loved ones, but also to build up their communities. Every month, you'll get knowledge of and access to free and affordable resources for you to overcome your obstacles and attain your goals to a higher quality of life. Peer support, personal development, professional development, financial planning, and financial literacy. All of these will be available. And again, last month, we did Overcoming Fear of Failure. And I'll link that below for y'all to take a look at, or I'll link it in the little playlist, the side playlist for y'all to take a look at once this is done processing after we live stream. But yes, visit FirstLadiesOfPovertyFoundation.org if you're ready to get started to create a better life, a higher quality of life for yourself and your loved ones, and get access to the knowledge and support, the knowledge and the community, the knowledge and the resources to help you get started today, not tomorrow, not next week, not this month, next month, today, right now. Go ahead and schedule your free consultation or get started at www.firstladiesofpovertyfoundation.org. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you submit your questions, your comments on this video so that I continue to make videos about things that you care about or that you contribute to the conversation, so that I also make sure that anyone who's really interested is getting the knowledge and the answers that they're looking for and need, and the things that they need to hear in order to get started on this journey to a better life for yourselves and your loved ones. So I hope everyone's doing well. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and do something today that your future self will be proud of. And I hope and pray that your next move be the game changer for you and your loved ones. Have a wonderful night, and I hope to see some of you at the Purpose, Peace, and Prosperity Retreat. And if not tonight, or this evening, then register for our next one with the information in the description below or in the comment section, which I will pin every resource that I talked about tonight or this evening. Good night. Stay blessed. Be healthy. and do something, like I said before, that your future self will be proud of you for. Have a good evening, everybody.
Don't be fucking rude. Are you kidding me?
You want to know why running on the treadmill 7 days a week doesn't work for you when you're trying to lose weight? Because it never has. And I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. Cardio actually burns